Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Javier with The Real Javier Novoa, a channel, a platform, and a modality where we apply the principles of interiorism to getting free, to living free, guys. And there's an exciting week coming up next week, actually, for the next 3 weeks. And I'm not going to tell you much. I'm just going to be saying that we have a lot of guests coming on, a lot of interviews scheduled that we'll be releasing, not every one of them immediately, but throughout the next 2 to 3 weeks. So be looking for that, guys. I like to have people come on to see their opinions and to share tips and pathways with us, because we're all saying the same thing but from different perspectives, and each psychological makeup of each different person has, of course, different trigger points, different points of reaching that person, the different points of transmission of the information. So it's necessary that we have a lot of different points of view. And of course, it may sound like we agree or disagree on points of view, but it's all the same energy. So I hope you understand that going forward. We're going to be bringing a variety of perspectives and a variety of opinions coming up. So if you liked our last interviews, stay tuned. I just wanted to make this video, guys, because in the last few videos, I've talked about the fact that we're going through a shift, and some people say it's because we're crossing from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. Whatever it might be, there's a shift in a lot of people's lives, and that's just because of the quicker moving nature of the energy, and that's good. That's fun. It's why we came, because life wouldn't be as interesting if things were just stagnant. And the fact that things are moving and being shaken up means that we're growing quickly, and there is a quickening afoot. So we're going to have to learn these modalities and be able to implement and practice these modalities much faster. It's what this channel here is here to help you do. But I've been getting a lot of emails. There have been things going on in my life about just things shaking up, stressful situations occurring, enforced transitions. And today I'm going to share what could be termed as a dirty little secret that 98% of the manifestation channels and coaches out there aren't going to share with you as explicitly, but Neville Goddard did talk about it a lot. Abraham Hicks talks about it, but you have to dig. And it's basically the Matthew effect, guys. And this is from the book of Matthew, where Jesus said, "To him who hath, more shall be given. But to he who hath not, it shall be taken, even that which he hath." And what it means is that, of course, this goes into the law of attraction. All of this is in the game, guys. All of this is in the duality. And the duality and the unity, of course, feed into one another, because, of course, there's only unity, right? So getting into the unity, getting into that knowing of I am, will render all of this void. But once you return to the game, the rules of that game, which are the law of attraction, once again take effect. And you have to know how to enter and exit that game and win. It's a very subtle process, and it takes practice. And again, we talk about it a lot on this channel, so stay tuned. But this is the secret, guys. Whatever's going on is becoming more. That's why even Berezovsky talks about it. Many of the success speakers of the past talked about the fact that if you have a blow of fortune or bad luck, it's most likely that something else is going to happen. Why is that? Because it's very easy to get out of this wave of fortune. And it's like a wave, guys. You could be on a wave of success after success, but if you still don't know who you are, if you still don't know interiorism, something could derail that. A vibrational aberration can come from some small thought that you've been thinking and derail all that, and you can have a failure, and then you're out of that flow, you're off that wave. With interiorism, it's a lot easier to get back on. Why? Because we know that there's nothing separate from us, and that we know that it's all within. But sometimes, even for the seasoned practitioners of interiorism, like myself, like many viewers of this channel, it's hard to really do that and convince yourself that you're doing it. Now, you don't even need to believe it, you just do it. But that would entail that you care not what happens on the outer. And it's very hard to do that unless you're very practiced in it, guys. Then it's easy. And again, things like hard and easy, don't ascribe a very literal meaning to these words. I'm just trying to give words to explain a phenomenon, which is, of course, something that words cannot describe. So there's a lot of paradox in this. But the main point is, if you're in a situation that you don't like, if you're in a negative situation, and you're trying to work on your feelings, or even if you're trying to work on your environment, it's very likely that you're just going to be in that tailspin and you're not going to be able to get out of it. Now, what we encourage people to do in this point, what Abraham Hicks talks about, is just allow that momentum to wash over you. It will be over relatively soon as long as you don't get caught up in that and create more of it. And of course, smooth out the film roll as much as you can. So you can always just sit back and ask yourself, what can I do? But a lot of times people who are in a negative vibration, they find it hard to take any action. And a lot of times they use the law of attraction, law of assumption teachings that they hear on the internet to not take action. But what they don't realize is that the not taking action is taking an action. And sometimes what you have to do is take action and not just sit down, because just sitting actually feels worse. If you actually tune into your feelings, a lot of people that say they're not taking action, their mind is still engaged in negative outcome planning about that. So here's what we recommend, and I'm just going to give it to you straight, very quickly. The people in the business world say now, not how. If you're in a rut, if you're in a situation where you just can't feel better, and you'll know this because you'll try to journal, you'll try to even implement processes that we talk about on this channel, and you can't feel better. At that point, you have to step back and you have to go back into the deeper knowing of interiorism. The deeper knowing of interiorism is even feelings don't matter because those are within me. I am the feelings. So you have to put feelings on the side and say, screw feelings. Now, I know Abraham Hicks talks about emotions as an emotional indicator, but that's what it is, an indicator, and it should be a very quick reading. You quickly read your feelings and you say, oh, I'm feeling bad, so something I'm doing is not good. And then you course correct. But what a lot of people do with the excuse of feelings being an emotional indicator, they just focus on those feelings and then they push back against them. And of course, you can't change it doing that. And a lot of times you'll be in a rut where you can't change your feelings. So you have to go a step above that and say, feelings are within me, I'm above them, and it doesn't matter what my feelings are right now. I'm choosing to declare the outcome that I want. And then you go straight to that outcome. Let's say you're broke and you have no money, just as an example. Let's say your outcome now is to make $3,000 a month doing what you love. I'm just using this as an example. So you say, you know what? I can't see how I'm going to do this. And don't ask how. I can't see how I'm improving my feelings around this, because no matter how much I even robotically affirm, I'm not believing it. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to declare that outcome. I am making $3,000 a month. And then what do? You start experimenting, guys. You start taking action on the outer, not even worried if it's aligned action. Why? Because at this point, you can't feel better anyway, so you're not going to be getting aligned or inspired action. And you don't need that inspiration. Here's another secret. Why? Because inspiration is within you. You are the inspiration. Who's going to inspire you? If you are everything that ever has been and ever shall be, if you are truly, you have that master of the universe within you, where's the inspiration going to come from? From you. So why would you wait on inspiration? Who are you waiting for? Nobody's coming. Nothing's coming. No inspiration's going to come, not if you're waiting for the inspiration. Because if you're waiting for inspiration, you're putting yourself in a state of what? Of waiting and looking for inspiration. Can't you see that that can't come? So I love the quote by the great artist Pablo Picasso, who said, inspiration is for amateurs. See, a lot of amateur artists and amateur authors say, I'm waiting for inspiration. And again, they use that as an excuse not to produce their art. But Picasso said, inspiration is for amateurs, so I'm going to do my work regardless of whether the inspiration comes. And you will see, when you start to do your work, no matter how uninspired it feels, because that's all you can do, guys, because this is the only option. This is not the ideal scenario, but it's a scenario when you feel that you've had a few strokes of quote-unquote bad fortune. You feel like you're in a situation that's desperate and you can't get out of it. Take action, guys. Just imagine what the next step could be. Go do it. Don't wait for inspiration. And I promise you, by doing that, you will do what Joe Dispenza talks about as breaking that vibrational ice. Even if it's the wrong action, you'll be able to turn around. You'll be able to very quickly see what the right action is. Look at life like an experiment, guys. I love the works of Eliyahu Goldratt, who wrote Theory of Constraints. He was an Israeli business consultant. And he talked about the fact that a scientist doesn't get upset when his experience fails, because a failed experiment, of course there's no such thing as a failed experiment, but an experiment which did not yield the reaction that was hypothesized gives you invaluable information about how to go about it next time. So look at everything that you do in your life as an experiment, take action, and I promise you, if all else fails, if meditation fails, if trying to get into alignment, if journaling fails, go out and take that action. Make it a small action. Don't make this action a bet the farm action. Make it small enough to where it doesn't cost you very much if it fails, but big enough to feel like you're stretching a little bit and doing something. And I promise you, if you take that action, you're going to feel better, and then inspiration is going to come to you. Remember, inspiration is within the state of inspiration. You are the inspiration. Inspiration cannot come if you're waiting on inspiration. So guys, that was just a short message that I wanted to give you. This is how you surpass the Matthew effect, because if you have nothing, nothing can come from that. But if you go a step above and go into your interiorist, knowing that you are everything, you are the one, you just have to get past this illusion, then you know that you have everything, then everything that you want can come from that. So thank you very much, guys. We do have a lot of exciting videos coming out next week. This is Javier with The Real Javier Novoa, and I will see you very soon.